15 minutes into the incident, as you can see, the fire department, by the applause, the fire department has extricated our first patient, being evaluated by emergency medical services. Fire department's continuing to work to get the driver out of the vehicle. This time they're using the cutters. They're going to remove the roof of the vehicle, be able to extricate our patients. The patient that was ejected from the vehicle has been determined to be a dead-on-arrival patient. No further resources will be utilized to do anything with that patient. They'll remain there until the fatal accident investigation team comes in, starts their investigation, and turns it over to the Bergen County prosecutor. This patient can remain on the hood of the vehicle for up to 2 to 3 hours, depending on how severe the accident was. The battalion chief from Hackensack Fire Department has been on the job for a while. One of the things we were talking about during this was how to stage this realistically so that you were able to see it. This is a direct scene from approximately 5 years ago. This accident scene is recreated for Essex Street and First Street. Imagine the black vehicle coming down Essex Street, past the diner, getting to the intersection of First. Car swerved, went into a telephone pole. The passenger that you see on the dashboard, on the hood of the vehicle, went through the windshield. The patient's nose was embedded into the windshield. Took him about 20 minutes to extricate them through the windshield. The entire front of his face was sheared. So at this time, the patient in the Camry is being interrogated by the police officers. They're asking what happened. She explained to the police officer that she saw red lights on the side of the road. She looked up for a second from her phone, swerved out of the way so she didn't hit the fire truck that was there, and hit the oncoming vehicle. Providing that this patient needs no further medical attention, she's going to be in the care and the custody of the Hackensack Police Department, who will interrogate her, place her under arrest for inattentive driving, cell phone use while driving, and failure to move over for an emergency vehicle. Failure to move over for an emergency vehicle is a new statute in the state of New Jersey. If a motorist fails to give emergency medical services, fire department, and police department adequate space on a highway or a roadway with interactive warning lights flashing, they can be prosecuted. The New Jersey move-over law, we were just conferring with the Hackensack Police Department. The move-over law starts at $500 fine for your first offense. Your second offense is an automatic loss of license and a $1,500 fine. Your third offense is an indefinite license suspension and a $2,500 fine. If the driver of the vehicle that is currently under arrest is found to be at fault, the charges will be upgraded to vehicular homicide with mandatory jail time. The accident reconstruction seen by the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office could take up to 3 to 5 hours, depending on the reconstruction, depending on the highway. Once they have determined the actual cause and the fault, the body will then be removed. As we said, it could be up to 2 hours before the body is removed. The fire department will continue to make the vehicle safe for the investigation. They'll continue to remove the rest of the door so that it does not pose a hazard to anybody else that's on the accident scene. The police department will continue to do reconstruction. That includes tire markings, that includes approximate distance, to see if brakes were applied. They will go through the vehicle to make sure that the vehicle was in good working order. If the vehicle is found not to be in good working order, the owner of the vehicle, the person that the vehicle is registered to, can also be held responsible for failure to maintain a vehicle. That could be subject to fines and imprisonment, depending on the severity of the injuries or if this resulted in a death. Our final patient is being removed. Be transported to a trauma center. You are very fortunate. We have a trauma center right here in Hackensack, New Jersey, the Hackensack University Medical Center. In the event that this patient was somewhere remote, or a trauma center was not within 5 to 10 minutes, you would have seen a helicopter land and transport the patient to the closest available trauma center. There are currently 12 New Jersey medevac helicopters scattered throughout the state. The average flight time from any base to any scene is approximately 15 minutes. If it is determined that the helicopter is needed by the ambulance crew would come in and stabilize the patient. The paramedics would be notified, and the helicopter would be launched. So for those of you who are curious about vehicles, those little black boxes in the vehicles, I was just told by one of the members of the Hackensack Police Department who's on the fatal accident investigation team, everything in your vehicle is recorded. Everything that you do is recorded. Pulling the data from the black box in your vehicle can tell you speed, can tell you how hard the brakes were applied, if the brakes were applied. It can tell you whether or not you were wearing your seatbelt. It can determine the analysis of the crumple zones in the beginning to determine how fast you were going. It can determine whether or not your vehicle moved to one side or the other, depending on if they departed the lane. All of these things are now recorded. Some of the new safety features you're seeing with lane departure and auto adjustment and auto braking, those are all done on the newer model cars. On the later model cars, you can still get that data. They can use that data. It's admissible in a court of law. They can use that data to prosecute you to the full extent of the law. At this time, all of our patients have been removed. The driver of the vehicle is under arrest. The fire department is in the process of taking up. They're going to put their equipment back together. The ambulance will transport to the trauma center. this time, the additional ambulance is going to come. The paramedics are going to come in. They're going to put a heart monitor on the patient, determine that there are absolutely no signs of life. Fatal accident team will continue, and they will remove the victim. Names will not be released until the parents are properly notified, or next of kin is properly notified. We're all good? Stay put. We're going to keep the sheet up. At this time, the patient has been pronounced dead by the physician at the hospital. The paramedics are going to take their monitor off, clean their equipment, and go back available. Prosecutor is en route. The body will remain on the hood of the vehicle for up to 2 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. We really appreciate it. How about a nice big round of applause for the members of the Hackensack Fire Department, Engine Company number 2, Rescue 1. Members of the Hackensack Police Department, Juvenile Division, Fatal Accident Investigation Team, and Traffic Division. Members of Hackensack University Medical Center's Emergency Medical Services, EMS and ALS. Guys, please go have fun tonight. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe, be smart.
job. Yeah, thank you.